Glad to have you back. Now, the federal government and Puntland are at odds, and Somalia President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud has asked the head of Hirshabelle and Southwest State to go to Garowe and mediate a settlement. According to sources close to the meeting, talks lasted for several hours and was chaired by President Mohamud, with the attendance of Ahmed Kahiya Korkor, Galmudug Abdulaziz Laftagaren, and Southwest State Ali Goodlawe of Hirshabelle.
The federal government of Somalia and Puntland are at odds, and Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud has asked the heads of Hirshabelle, the Southwest State, and Galmudug to go to Garowe and mediate a settlement. According to sources close to the meeting, talks lasted for several hours and was chaired by President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, with the attendance of Ahmed Kahiya Korkor of Galmudug, Abdulaziz Laftagaren of Southwest, and Ali Goodlawe of Hirshabelle State. During the meeting, the leaders discussed the latest situation in Somalia, particularly the operations against Al-Shabaab and the progress made so far. They also agreed to start the second phase of the war against Al-Shabaab as soon as possible. According to reliable sources, the main objective is to convince Deni to participate. The main objective is to convince Deni to participate in the upcoming meeting of the National Consultative Council, which is scheduled to take place in the middle of May in the city of Dusamareb. Puntland State President Said Abdullahi Deni skipped the top leaders meeting in Baidoa early this year, held in the interim administrative capital of Southwest, attended by both federal and regional state leaders. Deni was an opponent of the previous government. Led by Farmajo, and is now at loggerheads with the new government, which is led by Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, who competed against him in May 14th election last year. During the town hall meeting held Monday evening at the Jazeera Hotel in Mogadishu, President Mohamud denied allegations of a growing rift between the federal government of Somalia and the federal member states. President Mohamud presided over the lengthy discussions, which included Ahmed Kahiya Korkor of Galmudug, Abdulaziz Laftagaren Southwest State. Moreover, continued heightened internal tensions undermine the stability of Red Sea. Continued heightened internal tensions undermine the stability of the Red Sea corridor by exacerbating deep fish.
On Wednesday, Somalia Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Barre announced the appointment of 2 new members to the Council of Cabinet with the goal of revitalizing the transport and aviation sector. Abdikarim Abdo Haidar was named the new Minister of State for Transport and Aviation, while Ahmed Jama Omar was appointed the Deputy Minister of Transport and Aviation. On Wednesday, Somalia Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Barre announced the appointment of 2 new members of the Council of Cabinet with the goal of revitalizing the transport and aviation sector. Abdikarim Abdo Haidar was named the new Minister of State for Transport and Aviation, while Ahmed Jama Omar was appointed as the Deputy Minister of Transport and Aviation. This move comes after the recent changes in the Ministry of Transport, including the departure of General Sulub Ahmed Firin, who left his position as a Deputy Minister to become the country's police commissioner, and the unexpected resignation of former State Minister for Transportation, Mohammed Ali Omar, famously known as Ananoog. Ananoog cited the ministry's gross incompetence and mismanagement as reasons for his departure from the post in February. With these new appointments, Somali government is aiming to revamp the country's transport and aviation sector and ensure that it meets international standards. The new ministers will be tasked with addressing key challenges in the sector, including improving infrastructure, safety and efficiency. The Somali people are hopeful that these new appointments will bring much-needed change to the country's transport and aviation sector. Inadequate transport facilities are a considerable impediment to Somalia's economic development. The United Nations has appointed Catriona Liang, a British diplomat with extensive experience in diplomacy, development, and international relations, as the new special representative for Somalia and the head of United Nations Assistance Mission in Somalia. In her new role, Liang will support the Somali government in building state institutions, promote human rights, facilitate political dialogue and reconciliation, coordinate humanitarian assistance efforts, and promote peace and security in the nation.
The United Nations has appointed Catriona Lang, a British diplomat with extensive experience in diplomacy, development, and international relations, as the new special representative for Somalia and head of the United Nations Assistance Mission in Somalia and Som. In her new role, Lang will support the Somali government in building state institutions, promote human rights, facilitate political dialogue and reconciliation, coordinate humanitarian assistance efforts, and promote peace and security in the nation. Lang takes over from James Swan of the United States, who is recognized for his commitment and leadership through his term. Established in 2013, ANSOM is working towards creating peaceful and stable state in Somalia, following decades of conflict and political unrest. Ms. Lang brings to this position over 35 years of experience in diplomacy, development, and international relations, including having held United Kingdom government plus roles in various departments at the national and international levels. Most recently, from November 2018 until April 2023, she served as the British High Commissioner to Nigeria. Prior to that, she was the British Ambassador to Zimbabwe from 2014 until 2018. In addition to her diplomatic roles, Mrs. Lang has held several positions in government plus and international development, notably as Deputy Head of the Prime Minister's Strategy Unit 2000 till 2004. Director for Human Rights at the Ministry of Justice 2009 till 2012, and as the head of the Department for International Development in Sudan. In addition to her diplomatic roles, Mrs. Lang has held several positions in government plus, notably as Deputy Head of the Prime Minister's Strategy Unit 2000 till 2004, Director for Human Rights at the Ministry of Justice 2009 till 2012, and as the head of the Department for International Development in Sudan 2006 to 2009. She further headed the United Nations Development Office in Somalia from 1993 to 1994. Mrs. Catriona Lang holds Master of Science degree in Economics from the London School of Economics and Political Science and Master of Business Administration from Cardiff University, both in the United Kingdom.
On May 2nd, Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Removal Operations, Seattle announced the removal of Omar Abdi Mohammed, a 38-year-old Somali citizen convicted of conspiracy to provide material to assist terrorists in 2013. Mohammed was sentenced to 12 years in prison and 20 years of supervision by the U.S. District Court of Minnesota.
On the 2nd of May, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, Enforcement and Removal Operation, ERO, in Seattle announced the successful removal of Omar Abdi Mohammed, a 38-year-old Somali citizen convicted of conspiracy to provide material support to terrorists in 2013. Mohammed was sentenced to 12 years in prison and 20 years of supervision by the U.S. District Court for the state of Minnesota. Mohammed's conviction was part of the wider Operation Rhino investigation, aimed at targeting the recruitment of young Somali men to fight with Al-Shabaab, a terrorist group in Somalia. The operation resulted in the charging of approximately 18 individuals, with 8 being convicted. The individuals were involved in not only fighting with the terrorist group, but also facilitating travel, providing financial support, and participating in the recruitment process. The operation focused on young Somali men from the Minneapolis area, who were recruited to fight with Al-Shabaab in Somalia against the transitional federal government and African Union peacekeeping troops. The first groups of recruits left the US in late 2007, with more departures in 2008 and 2009. ICE officers encountered Mohammed in 2018 while he was in federal prison in Illinois and placed an immigration detainer on him. After his release and transfer to ICE custody, an immigration judge ordered his removal to Somalia in March 2023. He was deported on April 28th without incident. Drew H. Bostock, ICE Seattle Field Office Director, stated that the removal of Mohammed demonstrates that individuals supporting terrorism will not find a safe haven in the US. In the 2022 fiscal year, ICE arrested over 46,000 non-citizens with criminal histories, resulting in almost 200,000 associated charges and convictions, including assault, sexual assault, weapons, homicide-related, and kidnapping offenses. This deportation marks a significant step towards ensuring public safety and security, with ICE continuing to use the best information available to locate and remove public safety threats from our communities. For Dalsan TV News, I'm Ahmed Abdirashid Noor Gesi.
That's all we are prepared for you tonight. Have yourself a lovely night.